Hi, I'd like to teach today the seated posture. Why the seated posture is important is that we begin the class this way and we end the class this way. And so when we come to class and we sit down, we're leaving the rest of the world behind. And we're saying to our body and to our mind that now we have begun a practice. And then at the end of the practice, when we close seated, we're saying to ourselves, yes, I'm grounded. Yes, I feel good, steady and calm. And now I'm ready. I'm ready for the world. So it's good to start a class seated in a way that your spine can be really long. And that's not going to happen for you if your knees, if you've got really long legs or tight hips. The knees will be up here, and then it's hard to have a long spine there, right? So one thing that you could do is you could just bring your hands together and use that as a little bit of leverage to lift your chest up like this. And that's the position of long spine that we're looking for. Another way to do that would be just to drop one knee. And there's the very straight spine that we're also looking for. So those are two options if you don't have a block or a cushion. But for many people, even one knee, and certainly for two knees like that, it's just never going to happen with your structure because of knees or hips. So you should know that you can always do this option. You can take a bolster. Often I see people when they sit on a bolster, they still have this round in the back here with their knees up. And remember, what we're trying to do is to lift the chest. So in order to do that, you more or less have to push your pelvis back and roll forward on the bolster. It should almost feel like you're tipping off the bolster so that the chest can lift and the shoulders can drop down, even if your knees are still here, right? And then in that case, if it feels better to have your hands on the bolster or even behind you, sort of pushing the chest up this way, that's really good too. When you're seated on the bolster, if you roll forward to the front of the bolster and the knees come down, you can always use blocks underneath your legs like this. And that way, you'd have some support there for the hips to open. It's really a good use of the blocks. And then once again, with the hands palms down, the hips opening, the chest lifting in front, the shoulders can drop down the back. And then the option here, of course, is to put the block on the side and to use that as a bit of a support for your thigh. So that would look like this, right? You've got enough support there that you could even put the hands on the blocks to kind of pull everything in so that your chest can be lifted there. So once you're seated on the chair, it's not meant to be a posture where you're sitting into the back of the chair the way that we would normally sit in a chair. No, move your feet forward and sit pretty much right at the end of the chair so you can use the pelvis and the legs to get, once again, that position of sending your pelvis back in service of lifting the chest. Once again, for review, we're starting a class. We want to come into a calm place. We want the chest to be lifted so the shoulders can drop down away from the ears so that we can learn our conscious breathing there. So the common mistake is to roll back into your low back and have a rounded spine like this. When you're on a block or a cushion, the effort is to sit forward and use the cushion to help you lift your chest like this and to bring the knees down towards the floor. Slouching. So to sit like this, the way we're often sitting when we're on our devices or even in airplane seats and car seats, we're kind of encouraged in a way to sit like that by the shape of many of our seats. We really have to learn that that position is actually quite unhealthy for the spine. And so the common mistake here is to sit too far back in the chair. Just get as far forward as you can on the chair and sit like that.